It is 6:30 in the morning, maybe 15 below, and you are already running late. You turn the key. Nothing. A weak groan, then silence. The dash lights flicker like they are ashamed of themselves. You try again. Same thing. And now you are standing in the driveway in your coat, breath fogging, staring at a car that was fine yesterday, and you have no idea what to do next. Here is what nobody talks about: the quiet embarrassment of that moment. You feel like you should have seen it coming, like a responsible person would have done something to prevent this. You are 60-something years old. You have owned cars your whole life, and somehow a cold snap still beats you. That feeling, that mix of helpless and foolish, I know it well. And I want you to hear me say this plainly. It is not your fault. Not one bit of it. Nobody ever sat you down and told you what cold actually does to a car. Not your dad, not a salesman, not a single shop you ever walked into. They had no reason to. My name is Joe Carbone. I ran a small garage for 30-some years. Did everything. Tune-ups, transmissions, dead-of-winter tows, you name it. I have seen more frozen batteries than I can count, and I have watched shops charge good people $300-400 for a fix that cost maybe $12 and 15 minutes. I am done with that. I sold the shop. I do not sell parts. I do not take commissions. I have got nothing to pitch you. What I have is a long memory and a low opinion of how this industry treats regular people. So I talk. That is all this is. Here is the thing most people get completely backwards. They think a no start in winter is a car problem. It is not. It is a physics problem. And once you understand what cold is actually doing under that hood, the whole thing becomes almost insultingly simple to prevent. Cold does two things that gang up on your engine at the same time. First, it steals power straight out of your battery. A fully charged battery at 70 degrees Fahrenheit delivers 100% of its power. At 0 degrees, that same battery, same age, same condition, delivers maybe 40%, just from temperature. The chemistry inside that battery slows down like cold syrup. Meanwhile, your engine needs more power to crank in the cold, not less, because the oil in the engine has gotten thick and sluggish and the pistons are fighting through it. So right at the moment your battery has the least to give, your engine is asking for the most. That is the squeeze. That is why your car gives up on a cold morning and not a warm one. Now, who profits from you not knowing this? Think about it. If you understood that a $15 battery maintainer could prevent 90% of winter no-starts, you would never pay a shop $350 for an emergency battery swap in January. Dealerships love January. Tow companies love January. I've had my hands inside more engines than I can count. 30-plus years, grease under my nails, every trick in the book. And I'll be honest with you, the number of people I've watched get flat-out lied to at the counter makes me sick. You don't know what's real and what's a scam, and they count on that. Well, I'm done watching it. I took everything I've learned the hard way and put it into one straight-talking guide so a regular person can spot a ripoff before it costs them. No fancy words, just truth from a guy who's been there. Scan the QR code on your screen now or tap the link below. Let me have your back for once. Parts markup on a rushed battery replacement is obscene. They will charge you $200 for a battery you could have bought at any auto parts store for $80. There is simply no money in teaching you how to prevent the problem, so nobody does. I want to keep going, and I will. But if you want to see the rest of this series, because this is just the start of what I know, find the channel. Hit subscribe so you do not miss the next one. That is the only ask I will ever make. Now here is the part almost nobody gets right. The fix is two things. That is it. The first is a battery maintainer, not a charger, a maintainer, sometimes called a trickle charger or a float charger. There is a difference, and it matters. A regular charger pumps power in hard and fast and can actually damage a battery if you leave it on. A maintainer reads the battery, tops it off slowly, and then holds it at full charge without overcharging it. You plug it into a standard wall outlet. You connect the clamps to the battery terminals. Red to positive, black to negative, same as jumper cables. Do not mix them up. You leave it overnight or all weekend or however long the cold snap lasts. That is it. When you go to start that car at 6:30 in the morning, the battery is at full strength. The physics problem is solved on one side. A decent maintainer costs between $25 and $40. Buy one that is rated for your battery size. The package will say if it works for standard car batteries, and it will. Brands like Battery Tender, NOCO, and Schumacher all make reliable ones in that price range. Look for one with an automatic shutoff and a float mode. Those words on the box tell you it is the right kind. If you park outside and cannot run an extension cord to the car, I understand some of you are in an apartment lot or a long driveway, you can get a battery blanket instead. It wraps around the battery itself, plugs in the same way, and just keeps the battery warm. Not hot, just warm enough that the cold cannot rob its output. Same principle, slightly different tool, works just as well. Now the second part, your oil. If you are still running the same oil weight year-round, you are making the engine fight harder than it needs to in winter. Most oils sold at shops are 5W30 or 10W30. That first number, the 5 or the 10, is the cold weather viscosity. Lower number means thinner when cold, which means it flows faster at startup and gets to your engine parts sooner. In serious cold, below 10 or 15 degrees Fahrenheit, I want you in a 0W20 or a 0W30 if your engine calls for it. Check your owner's manual. It will list the recommended viscosity range for cold weather. If the manual says 5W20 is fine, run that. If it approves 0W, use that in the deep cold months. And while you are at it, clean your battery terminals. Don't wait until you're stranded on the side of the road to wish you'd listened to me. That breakdown you're dreading? It almost never happens out of nowhere. The car warns you. You just got to know what to look for. And most folks never do. I'm a mechanic, and I've towed in too many cars that could have been saved for the price of paying attention. By then it's a fortune, and you don't have it to spare. So fix this now, while everything's still running fine. Scan the QR code on your screen this second or tap the link below. The best time was yesterday. The next best time is right now. Get a wire brush from any auto parts store, $1.50. Disconnect the negative cable first. Always negative first. Look at the terminals where the cables clamp on. If you see white or bluish crusty buildup, that is corrosion and it is strangling your connection. Brush it off. Reconnect positive first, then negative. Takes 10 minutes. A corroded terminal can cost you 20-30% of your battery's available power right there for free on a cold morning when you can least afford it. Now I am going to do something most people in this business never do. I am going to tell you when this does not work. If your battery is already failing, if it is 4 or 5 years old and losing capacity, a maintainer will help, but it will not save it forever. You are borrowing time. A maintainer keeps a good battery strong. It cannot resurrect a battery that is genuinely dying. If you notice your car cranking slowly even after a full night on the maintainer, or if you see a battery warning light, go get it tested. Most auto parts stores test batteries for free. If it comes back bad, replace it. A new battery at the parts store, installed yourself in 20 minutes, runs $80 to $100. Do not let a shop charge you $250 for that same job. This method also does not fix a bad alternator, a failing starter, or a fuel delivery problem. Those need real diagnosis. What I am giving you today handles the single most common reason cars do not start in cold weather. That is the battery, the cold, and the oil. If you take care of those 3 things, you eliminate most of what goes wrong on a winter morning. Not all of it, most of it. Here is the line I want you to keep. A $25 maintainer and the right winter oil weight have saved more cold morning starts than every emergency jump start service in this country combined. This week, before the next cold snap hits, go get a battery maintainer. You can order one online tonight or pick one up tomorrow. Plug it in before the temperature drops. If you want to go further, check your owner's manual for the cold weather oil recommendation and make sure you are in the right weight. That is 1 week's worth of action. Do those 2 things and you will not be standing in the driveway next month wondering what went wrong. Here's what I want to know from you. Drop it in the comments. How old is your battery right now? Do you even know? A lot of people do not, and there is no shame in that. But tell me what state you are in, because the advice changes a little depending on whether you are dealing with Minnesota winters or just a cold snap in Tennessee. And next time, I am going to show you the one thing under your hood that is quietly draining your battery all winter long, even when the car is parked and the key is out. Most people have no idea it is happening. I have seen it cost someone a brand new battery they never needed. That is the next one. Do not miss it.